Hello HBA, Dan here with your final installment this year of Meet Your Leaders. Today I'm with Andrew Long. Andrew, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Dan. How you doing?
I'm fantastic, thanks. And you?
Good. Yeah.
Andrew is leading our Remodelers Council this year, and we would just want you to get to know Andrew a little bit. So tell us a little bit about Andrew. Where'd you grow up?
Well, I grew up mostly in Council Bluffs, moved to Des Moines, and when I graduated high school to go to school at Drake, and played football there, and so that's what brought me to Des Moines, and I stayed, obviously, because I'm still here. So
Yeah, so what, were you an lineman, or what did you play, what position?
Yep. I played offensive center, so I did, obviously, the O-line, and then also did special teams, so I did all the long snapping and PAT snaps. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's a good time.
And then your wife is also an athlete. You guys had met at Fellowship of Christian Athletes, is that correct?
We met a little later in life, so in our early 30s, but we were both volunteering at Fellowship of Christian Athletes camp down in Pella that they hold every year, and we just happened to meet as young adults and hit it off, and she happened to be living in West Des Moines where I was living at the time, and she worked at a church across the street from where I was living, so it just kind of seemed like a God appointment. So anyways, I pursued her, and I was trying to get her to help with one of the huddles that I was doing at North High School at the time, and she originally denied me, and then later on we got connected through social media and went on a date. So
that's probably the story of most of our lives, right? We all got shot down, right?
Yeah, rest is history after that.
Yeah, so you've got a young family, correct?
Yeah, we do have a young family. We are in our early 40s, and we adopted 2 kids in the last 3 years. So we've got Landry, who's 3, and then Jalen turns 2 this month. So we've obviously been pretty involved in the foster adoption program here in Des Moines through an organization called Four Oaks, which is how we got connected. And then opportunities, there's lots of need out there, so they make calls, you evaluate whether that's a good fit, and take placements, and from there you kind of go through the process of sometimes kids will go back to their biological parents, and other times they won't, and then they become adoptable, and then you choose to adopt, or some people just do the fostering only, they don't adopt. So but we chose to adopt, and so we've got 2 little blessings.
That's fantastic. Congratulations. Well, so tell me, I know I knew you first as a realtor, and now you're as a contractor. Tell us how you got into our industry.
Yeah, well, obviously with my degree at Drake, I didn't go into any home building stuff, right? So I was an education major. I was actually a teacher and a coach for 7 years, coached football, track and field, taught special ed for 7 years, and then had some life events and went to seminary for a few years. My wife and I sold some farm ground in Adel after we got married, had some money to invest, talked to a friend of mine, we invested in a couple rental properties. That sped into 6 months later a conversation with another builder where we formed a company called Crown Homes at that time, and there was 3 partners out of the gate, and so we worked through growing the business, and out of the original 3 partners, I was the only one after 1.5 years that kept going. So I stayed on that path, and I've been a part of the HBA probably since we started that, but I haven't been as actively involved until the last 3 years. So, that's how I got into the industry, is kind of by chance. My role originally was a lot of like estimating, systems processes, kind of the inside administration of the company, right? So but I've also learned a lot of going out in the field, putting the tool belt on, doing construction, but we focus mostly on project management, general contracting. We do custom homes and renovations. We've kind of done all that from the beginning, but that's evolved a little bit as well. So
then you transitioned and you made the choice to buy into the franchise, the Allaire franchise, and bring that to Des Moines. So tell us about that. How did that work, and how's that been going?
So back in 2019, I got reached out to by Allaire Homes, and at that time, obviously Des Moines is growing. There's a lot of companies, national companies, that are looking at Des Moines. Probably 6 months prior to that, D.R. Horton had come to town and bought out Classic, and so I was like, well, I probably should be open to learning what they have to say. It was when I researched them, it was a larger company. I was like, oh, this looks like a national brand, but they were focused on custom homes and renovations, which was a bit different than like say a D.R. Horton, for example. This is the first office in Iowa, so kind of being on the forefront of that. There's some opportunities for me as a regional partner within a layer to expand on that. So really the last, almost 4 years now has been a lot of making that transition from ground homes to a layer. Laying that foundation work. There's some things that we do in our process of construction that we've, turned over some of the trades that we work with. We're focused on a little bit more higher end custom and renovation projects. So it's just really getting the brand out there and awareness and stuff like that. So the last couple of years has been a lot of pounding the pavement and getting out there and stuff. But yeah, it's going well. It's nothing's ever easy when you make those transitions, but I'm enjoying the process, and we got tons of support inside of a layer and the way we structure that. And so yeah, I'm excited about some opportunities that we have coming up and hopefully expanding a little bit and growing. So yeah.
Great. Well, you've taken on the role of leading the Remodelers Council this year and the tour of remodeled homes. And so tell us about how you got involved really with the council and maybe the leadership ladder specifically, if anybody's interested in that.
Yeah, well, probably like a lot of people, you join the HBA and sometimes you might go to some of the social events, but you're maybe not as active like on a committee, let's say, for example. A couple of years ago, I got an email that said, hey, looking for people that want to volunteer for committees. I think prior to that, Nicholas Donlin had reached out and did like a survey with some people and asked kind of like how could we improve some things, and I was kind of eyeing the education component because I guess being a former teacher, I like that piece of it. But those are the things that would draw me into the HBA events, is the educational content that would be at different events. And so when I thought about that, it's like, well, hey, maybe that's, if we focus in on that, and maybe that helps drive some more interest in different, HBA and the Remodelers Council. So anyways, the email came out and I said, well, I'd be interested in joining. I looked through the list of opportunities. That education piece seemed to be a fit. So that's what I said, hey, I'm, volunteer for that. And I got plugged into the Remodelers Council.
Not the specifics and dates, but tell us, tell people an overview of what those quarterly educational events are evolving or have evolved into.
Yeah, so in the past we would do social and education and other networking events, and they were kind of spread out and they were separate. And so last year our thoughts were, as we combined all those, make it one event, make them quarterly, we could combine like education, networking, and social all together. And so we've been trying to create speakers and topics that would drive interest for people to come to those events and have the opportunity not only to learn, but also to network with other remodelers. And it's not really just a remodelers event because it's open to the whole HBA, but we've had a mix of remodelers and associates and people as a part of the HBA that maybe aren't remodelers, so other builders that have come to those events. So we try to make it educational for everyone, and everybody should be able to get something out of the event. So
great. Do you have any specific goals or anything you want to share in closing with anybody watching? Yeah,
we're still going to focus in on doing the quarterly events. We've also got the tour of remodeled homes, which is a big piece. So those are our two main focus areas, and then we've got a few new committee members that are pretty excited about adding a few little maybe socials in as well, just kind of driving a little bit more morale into the group and just putting all the business education stuff aside and just hang out, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to have a few other events like that we're also going to be promoting here over the year. But yeah, you can look for our next quarterly event at the end of March, so there'll be some more information coming out in the next few weeks about that. So.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for coming in this morning and sharing. If you want to know more about Andrew, the Remodelers Council, the tour, the quarterly education, his contact information's at the bottom. I know he texts, he emails, he picks up the phone, so reach out, and we look forward to seeing you at an HBA event. Thanks, everybody.